Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to R Squared Technology. I'm your host Ryan, and let's get ready to SolidWorks. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. Welcome to Monday. So, in this challenge video, we are picking up in the overall series, the Motorcycle Truck Bed Trailer Challenge. We are currently working on the torsion axle subassembly. And in today's video, we're going to model the torsion axle swing arm, as I'm calling it, and I think you'd all agree with me on that. So, with that, let's jump into it. Alright, so to start with this part, I'm going to choose the front plane, Control 8 to bring it normal to. Then we'll come over to our sketch tab, and now if you recall in our last video, we had made the torsion axle itself and put it into a subassembly where we have the torsion housing and the torsion rods and of course the torsion axle itself. So it's, it's a square, but it's arranged in kind of a diamond shape at rest. So the swing arm needs to account for that offset by at least 20 degrees, it seems, from what I've researched. So we're going to actually make our origin for this that square cutout in the swing arm. So with the sketch, we'll get started. We're going to choose a 3-point center rectangle. And our first thing we want to do for that rectangle is choose the origin. As coincident to that, we'll click and drag out. And we can do something like this. It doesn't matter how it is. We're going to add dimensions and relations accordingly to make it all work out. So the torsion axle is 1.180 thousandths, so, or 1.018. So with that, this is going to be, now again, something to keep in mind here too is how I'm dimensioning this. If we dimension this way or this way, it's different than if we dimension on the actual line. And I want to dimension on the actual line like this, you can see here. So then we're going to make this 1.018 plus 12 thousandths, why not? 6 thousandths each side. And then from here, I'm going to make this side and this side equal. And then the final item I'm going to do is I'm going to take this top point and the origin, so press and hold the control key. That's how you do a multi-selection. One way to do it. So I'm going to choose this end point here and the origin, and I'm going to give it a vertical relation. Now from here, we have the cutout set up, and this will match up to our assembly. Should match up to our assembly if we've done this properly. So from here, then I can simply draw a circle out, and we're going to go in this direction here. So, as kind of a frame of reference, we'll make a center line from this origin, and we'll go here. So at 90 degrees, what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to choose somewhere in space, right click, select, and I'm going to actually choose that this center line, again I'm going to try to get it to, see if it'll, there we go, we want it to match at its angle, because I want it to be 6 inches. And then I'm going to make another center line. Actually, I don't even need to do that in this case. We'll just go straight to a smart dimension. We'll zoom in here. We're going to use this center line and this center line. And we got a reference of 8 degrees. We're going to make it 20. We'll pull that all the way out here, this here. So we want the center point of the two swing arm to maintain 6 inches no matter what's happening here. So it's going to do this when pressure is applied, right? And now from here, I'll select OK. I'm going to choose another circle. I'm going to make it the center point of that circle coincident to the end point of this construction line here. Numbers don't matter. We're going to kind of fill those in. Best guess. Again, this is not real dimensions for a swing arm. Don't try to create this part based on these dimensions. It might break on you. We'll do this top one here. Give it a diameter. Let's go 4 inches. Let's see how that looks. It's pretty solid. That's probably pretty overkill for how small the torsion axle is. So let's do 2.5. Again, things are not exactly proportional in this, but that's okay. Because we're not really going to build this trailer in real life. This is just a challenge to make a trailer to some degree. And I've potentially bitten off more than I can chew by adding this much detail in, but here we are, and, you know, we might learn some things, some techniques along the way. So, I want these two circles to be equal to each other, so, again, from here, press and hold the control key, select our circle that's already defined with the dimensions, select the other one, and equal. This should be fully defined because we have our angular dimension here, our length, and diameter. And now from here, what I'm going to do is throw in some lines as such. Let's see, and I decided it wanted to go tangent like that. I don't want it to be tangent quite like that. It's okay, so what I'm going to choose instead is offset entities. We'll do bidirectional. And let's do a thickness of 0.75. Divided by 2, 0.375. Yeah, let's make that 0.5. Actually, we might be able to just go up 0.75. Yeah, that'll work. I like that. Alright, cool. Now we're going to come up here, still in the Sketch tab. We're going to choose Trim Entities. We're going to trim those offset lines we made like such. Here's our offsets. Pull those out of here. Kind of gets in the way of our circle, but that's okay. Now, one thing let's just try it and see what it does. Sometimes when you do trimming, it can disassociate dimensions and or relations, so let's see how much of a train wreck this becomes if I go through here, 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 and here. It maintained it. I like it. That's less regions I'm going to have to select in the extrusion portion of things. Now, we'll do all of this in mostly one sketch. I'll make the axle coming out for the actual wheel a secondary sketch, but within this one, let's do this. Let's go. Actually, we could just drag straight out on that. There we go. I'm going to do a little bit of an indent. How much? Let's just say we'll offset it from this. We want this dimension to be based on this external line here, so that if we ever change this width here, this internal indentation will be change relative. So we'll make that 0.375. Notice something also, this isn't coincident to this construction line, which I want it to be. So I'm going to go, let's choose midpoint. There we go. I like that. I can roll with that. And our length, let's see, let's make this relative to that. 0.625. Looks good. And we're going to call that good for this part. So, come over to the Features tab. Then we'll do Extrude Boss Base. profile selected. We're going to do the favorite end condition, mid-plane. Bob Ross would be so happy. Or he'd be like, what the heck is this? This is not painting. No, it's not. It's CAD. But hey. So as far as this part thickness goes, oh, that's going to be an indent. So, that's okay. We can still operate off of this sketch here. We'll just do it like this. And we'll give this a thickness of probably 2.5 inches to start. That's a thick part there. Now, what I'm going to do over here on the left in my feature tree, drop down, I'm going to choose this sketch. Just kidding. Let's not go there yet. We're going to choose this face. We'll do a sketch. And then I'm literally going to go convert entities. Oh, sorry. I have to start into the sketch first. Then from here, right click over in the feature tree to make that first sketch visible. A little confusing. Don't worry. I'll zoom in. We're going to do convert entities. And then I'm going to choose that rectangular sketch I made in the middle. Because then I can apply it on both sides and everything's changed accordingly. So, now with that, I'm going to come over to the Features tab. We're going to do an extrude cut. We don't want to through all condition there blind. But we will keep it to be a blind end condition in this case. Not my favorite, but that's okay. And it's just going to be a depth of 1/4 of an inch for now. This is going to be like some sort of probably cast iron, maybe cast steel, or might be forged steel. But even if it's forged, I believe you'd want to have a draft. So I'm going to go 1/2 inch, 375. And then in the properties of this, instead of adding a draft if it's as its own feature, there's 2 ways to do this. We can add a draft right here. And I'd say at least a 3-degree draft. Probably for what this is. I mean, it's not super deep, but again, I honestly have never worked with forged parts before, so I don't know if the drafting rules of a forge, if drafting rules necessarily even apply to forged parts versus cast parts. I work with casting parts, and oh yes, you've got to have draft angle. So, leave a comment below if you work with forged metal and forged parts, and if drafts are required, or if you can get away with a lot more. So, we've created the draft there, so we can select OK. Zooming it in, again, if you need to manipulate the part, there are many ways to do that. You can hit the space bar, which gives you your top, front, bottom, left, right, back side. Or there's also control numbers related to all of those. Or you can bring things normal to, or alternatively press and hold the center scroll wheel of the mouse and you can rotate the part, or you can scroll in and out to zoom on the part. You can also hit G as another means to zoom on an isolated area, G again to remove that. So there's a couple ways to navigate your part. This way I'm being a little bit more informal in how I'm going to precisely navigate. Doesn't matter to me, I'm just trying to grab this. So from here, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the front plane, and I'll hit Control 8 to bring it normal to for a moment. Make sure we're all squared away. Geometry looks good. Alright, now I'm going to press and hold the scroll wheel to rotate it just a little bit. So front plane is selected. I'm then going to come up here, make sure I'm in the Features tab, and I'm going to come over here to the right and choose Mirror. And then I already have the front plane selected. Now granted, I don't have to have the front plane selected right out the gate. Instead, what I can do is in the graphics view, we have this little right arrow here, drop it down, and then I could choose the front plane here. So, you know, you can pick your poison of which way is going to work more effective and quicker and efficient for you. In most cases, pre-selecting things may be a better choice. Sometimes not. Depends. So, I want the front plane though, that's my mirror plane. And then down here, I'm going to choose the cut extrude. So features to mirror, cut extrude, and select OK. Certain times that you cannot mirror a feature depending on its dependencies / say end conditions, things like that. So you'll have to be aware of that. From here, I'm actually going to right click on that sketch and hide it. Hit Control S. Again, save this part at the beginning, Control S. Save all these parts under like a torsion subassembly folder so that when you put it all together you can find them easily. So now we've got this indent on both sides. Now we're going to finish up with some fillets. Actually, we're going to come over here on this side real quick. Control 8 to bring it normal to. This is technically the back side. We're going to choose a sketch to open it up. And we're going to grab, if it will let us. There we are. We need this center point here. We need to build an axle. And we're going to leave this as a rough dimension for now and refine it once I've done some research as to the type of wheel I want to put on it. Because the axle's diameter, OD, might be different. So for now we'll do this at, say, 1.625. Boss extrude that out. And from here, oh, here's a SOLIDWORKS glitch. I did not change that extrusion length. So what I'm going to do for this right now is I'm going to make it 2 inches even, and I'm going to choose blind, select OK. This is the craziest thing. SOLIDWORKS does have this glitch where it can change an extrusion. Anybody in the comments wants to let me know how you can prevent this or what's causing it, please drop a comment below. But I have had this before. I've had this happen in different versions of SOLIDWORKS, all the way back to 2018, where it'll take an extrusion and randomly give it a larger value. And usually it's 8. So let's see if that's the case here. There it is, the magic 8 ball. So let's bring this back down to 2.5 inches here. Control S, save it. And we're going to select this face here, Control 8 to bring it normal to. Do a sketch, choose sketch, do another circle. We want the center point, and this one will make 0.875 for now. And we'll extrude that out. 2.5 inches for now. We're definitely going to make some adjustments to this later. Control S. And then I want to add some fillets to this, clean it up. So on this internal working here, let's do 1/8 inch fillets. So I'm going to mask select by choosing that face there. I'm going to do these faces here. We can speed things up a bit that way. And I want to do it. Now arguably, I could have done this fillet to one side and mirrored it to the other, potentially. But I'm doing it this way. Control S. And now we'll do a fillet that's a lot smaller, say 0.03125. And I'm going to apply it to, not that face, these edges here. You really want to select that, that's fine. Zoom in however you want to. Select these edges. Oh, let's make that a little bit bigger. 0.065. Yeah, that'll work for now. Do the same to the other side. Again, in some cases you could mirror this to make the selection process a little bit easier. Smooth this part out. And let's add some fillets here. Let's do a 0.125 on this. And a fillet of 0.03125 here. We're not going to do anything to this end. When we figure out finally what this diameter is going to be, I'm actually going to potentially lengthen this and we'll add a thread to it. But I'm not going to go over that in this video. We're just getting the basic profile created for now. For now, this is going to remain sharp. Do I have a radius on this? 0.3125. Yeah, we'll leave this sharp for now, and we can add radius into it later. So spacebar to bring it isometric for now. Control S. Materials. Plain carbon steel. Let's make it plain carbon steel for now. Why not? Again, not accurate materials, accurate dimensions, or anything like that. It's just more or less exercises and concepts that we're working with. And again, it's the overall challenge of making a motorcycle trailer truck bed, which I've delved deep into this so far. That is going to be it for this video. Next Monday, depending on what I can research, we will look into making the wheel, and then we'll come back to this part and tune things up to better suit that wheel. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something from this. And until next time, take care.